Plaintiff Renee Boland says at age 13, her mom introduced her to crystal meth. And from that point on, her life was a roller coaster. Renee worries that her son, the defendant, is following in her footsteps. And she's suing him today for an unpaid loan. Defendant Brandon Boland says growing up, his mother was never there for him, and he was forced to raise himself. Brandon admits that he borrowed money from his mother, but says instead of buying a truck, he faked an injury so he could get pain pills.
Tell me what happened.
Just to give you a little bit of a background, just my son Brandon Boland, I love him very much, but I'm very worried about him. We bump heads a lot, and he's too much like me, and I'm a recovering addict. And I've been through a lot. I started doing drugs when I was 13. My mom introduced me to meth when I was 13. And my whole life, everything was a roller coaster after that.
You were doing crystal meth as of 13?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. Until when?
I actually stopped doing that when I turned 18. But then I turned to other drugs, and it was a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And so I've dabbled in everything. Okay. And unfortunately, my children were with me with the roller coaster, and they saw what I went through, and I'm kind of afraid that Brandon might be going down the same road. Why?
What makes you concerned? You see signs of that?
Yes, and I know he's experimented. And
experimenting with what type of drugs, in your opinion?
I know marijuana, maybe some pills.
Why do you say maybe some pills?
Because I haven't seen it. I mean, I can speculate.
Based on what?
His behavior.
Okay.
And his reason for not paying my loan back that I had loaned him.
So you're concerned about him, and have you discussed your concerns with him?
Yes, I have.
And what does he say?
I'm a hypocrite. And
okay, he says you did it so I can do it, in essence?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And I try to explain to him, like, I was there, but I'm not there anymore. I'm here now.
Let me ask him, sir, what do you want to tell me about what she just said?
When I was younger, I always felt that she favored my sister over me, and she was never really around.
She favored dope over both of y'all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I thought she wasn't there and no one to raise me, so I just started raising myself, doing what I wanted to do.
Let's talk about the other thing she said. She said she's mentioned drug and alcohol use to you, and you said you're a hypocrite.
Yes, sir.
That's your defense to her wanting to talk to you about drug and alcohol use?
Yes, sir.
So in essence, you're saying you should be able to do what she did? You want to do what she did?
I think I should at least be able to try it.
Okay. So you think you should be able to repeat her mistakes, and that's what you want to do?
No, sir.
That's what it sounds like. If that's your defense, if you say you're a hypocrite, so don't stop me from doing it because you did it, so I should be able to do it. That sounds like you want to do it. So you want to be a dope fiend?
No, sir.
What type of drugs do you use?
I quit everything. I'm starting to straighten up.
What did you use in the past?
Pills, marijuana.
What type of pills?
Roxy's, Lorcet, Percocets, Sonomas.
Does he always talk like this? His voice, does it sound like this all the time?
Yes,
Has he always sounded like this, or did it begin around the time you began to suspect he was using pills?
He's always been a very slow, relaxed person.
And spoke like this?
Yes.
As of what age? All of his life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Because, you sound like, am I right or wrong? Isn't that what your friends who do heroin sound like?
Yes, sir.
I know what I'm talking about. Let's get to the loan. I hope you have straightened your life out. Go ahead. What do you want to tell me about the loan?
Okay. In January, I got my income tax return, and he had turned 18. And he wanted a truck, and he wanted to borrow $3,500 for this truck. We went and looked at it, and I said, okay, he had a job, and he was doing okay in school. And he said, he'd pay me back. I said, okay. And we went and looked at the truck. Next day, I gave him the money for it, and he didn't come home that night or the next night. He wouldn't answer my texts. He wouldn't answer my calls. He did text me back on the day before he got home. Don't worry about me, I'll be home.
How many days was that
2 days. That was the second day.
Okay.
Okay. So Sunday he comes home and he has no truck. And I'm like, where's the truck? And he's like, don't worry about it. And he threw $829 down on the counter. I said, no truck, well, no loan. I want my money back. And he said, no, we agreed I'd pay $150 back a month. I said, but that wasn't the total agreement. You're not going by what we agreed or talked about.
What did he tell you happened to the rest of the money?
At first, he didn't tell me anything. We have a very big communication
Later,
problem.
what did he tell you?
He said that his friend that he was buying the truck from had this great idea that they could go down to Florida. And he got an MRI done because he wanted to go and get pills so he could sell them. And he got the MRI done, and only by the grace of God did the doctor say there's nothing wrong with you. Where we're at, that's the thing. That is the thing that people are doing.
To go and get MRI.
Yeah, go
That's
get
what
an
everybody
MRI,
does
and then
to get their pills.
And go get to these pain clinics, and they will give you anything.
Okay, well, if that's the game, then you know
that is the game down there.
Okay,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Young man, what do you say to this?
She gave it a loan to get a vehicle. I got it on a Thursday. Friday, I skipped school, and I was going to buy this truck for my friend, but he came to pick me up, and he said, how would you like to make more money and get my truck? I said, okay. So we drove down to Florida. I had to put gas in his truck. We get there, and I told him to hit me a few times in the back. And
you told him what?
To hit me in the back a few times. And I went to the doctor. I had to pay him a $450 down payment. And I did an MRI. Nothing showed up wrong with me. So after that, I was like, oh. And he wouldn't give my $450 back. So I was like, well, I'm already going to be in trouble. So I go and get a hotel room on the beach, and I basically partied for 3 days.
Because, you sound like, am I right or wrong? Isn't that what your friends who do heroin sound like?
Yes, sir.
Plaintiff Renee Bolin is suing her son, who admits that after he borrowed money from Renee, he faked an injury so he could get pain pills.
Any defense to not paying her, sir?
Because I feel like I shouldn't have to pay her back, because everybody else she has loaned money to in my family don't have to pay her back.
So you sound so pitiful. Yeah. You willing to be checked for drug use?
Sir?
Yeah, you willing to be checked for drugs in your system here today?
Yes, sir.
And do you agree to attend inpatient rehab if we find drugs in your system?
Yes, sir.
All right. That'll be the order. In the meantime, I'll grant your judgment, $2,971. His only defense is that other people don't have to pay you back, so he should neither. Sir, she might be marching there, all the other people in here too, so you don't know. And once again, you've agreed to take a urinalysis test, and if drugs are found in your system, you've agreed to go to inpatient treatment. We'll find one for you. If insurance doesn't cover it, we'll find a way to have it paid for. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Well, he's doing good right now, and he's in college, and I wish the best for him, and just not to follow my footsteps.
I'm glad it's a squish.